Hello there. I want to talk about PIP again today, and specifically the reapplication of PIP when it comes up for renewal. I had mine a couple of months ago, and I had a comment on YouTube about the frustrations of having to reapply when you have a chronic condition that doesn't change. So, for example, something's you've been diagnosed with an illness or a condition, and the effects of that are going to either be static or get worse as time goes past. So I'll give you an example. Ankylosing spondylitis, which is what I have, particularly affects me on my spine and my sacroiliac joint, which both have damage to them. Right, that damage is irreversible. It's a chronic illness. It's never ever going to get better. There's no cure. So it's also a degenerative disease. So things like biologics and medication and exercise, stretches, all those sorts of treatments can help can help the progression slow down, but it doesn't stop it. That's the crucial thing. So you can slow it down to such a degree, if you're in a really good position, that it can never get any worse. But you're still at that level. So you still get the pain. You still get the lack of mobility. You still get the stiffness first thing in the morning. You still get the fatigue. You still get all those symptoms. They just don't get any worse if you manage it. But not everybody is on biologics. Not everybody gets access to the right treatments, and may have an external something that they can't control that causes stress for them, perhaps, and makes it worse, and what have you. And it makes the symptoms kind of go up and down, but gradually it goes down. So if you imagine a graph, there's your graph. Am I doing it the right way around on here? I'm trying to. And your squiggly line starts off here. It's low pain, high pain, low pain, high pain, low pain, high pain. But it's always decreasing, not decreasing, but getting worse, sorry, as you go through life. Bringing it to PIP. So when you apply for the first time for personal independence payment, you fill out a bunch of forms. You either have, I know they were doing phone things, like phone applications, like during COVID and the pandemic, and some of them are still spilling over to now, because it's, I guess, a cost-saving exercise on their part. But when you reapply, so let's say, hi, we are PIP, we're giving you 3 years worth of PIP. We will ask you for a reassessment in 3 years' time. We'll send you the forms out. So you have to go through exactly the same forms. Now, granted, you only have to put things that have changed on the forms. And once you've done that, you still have to send it off, but you still have to go through what's then classed as the reassessment process, which I found no different at all to the original assessment process, other than they had information from the original one. And they would sometimes recall that information. So it seems a lot of effort. Now, it's very stressful going through these. A lot of people with chronic conditions, I see it all the time on social media. I don't think anybody's really had a clear, yeah, that was great, I really want to do it every day kind of reaction to PIP assessments. Some of them run smoothly. The majority of them, from what I see and hear and get feedback from, is that they're extremely stressful, they cause problems for people, and they cause more anxiety around doing the actual assessment and the lead up to the assessment, because you've got I don't know, is threat the right word, of like not receiving it. And if you don't receive it, it's almost like a validation of your chronic illness. Now, unfortunately, with PIP and the DWP, there is a certain level of medical training that they have, but that level is quite generic. So they're not experts on the chronic illnesses that you have, unless you're really lucky and someone comes on and says, hi, I've got that as well. The chances are, if they have, they're not going to be working for the DWP. So it's a nice feeling when you do get validated, when somebody says, I agree that your chronic illnesses, your symptoms, the results of what you're going through are worthy of our tick in the box. And that's effectively what it is. It's just tick in the box. But that validation is quite a strong validation. I would say it's a strong validation. It's quite important to a lot of people. And the build up and the anxiety that you might have going through all the pre-processes to then maybe not get validated can be absolutely horrific for people. Now, yes, you can appeal things, causes more stress, causes more anxiety, and that's when it gets difficult for people. There are people out there that can help. So for ankylosing spondylitis, the charity NASS, there's a chap there called Gary who writes out a letter for supporting any applications and stuff like that. But the reapplication, it should be something different. It should be, if you've got a chronic illness, why do you need to reapply? You've already got it. You've already applied. They've already put the tick in the box. I understand that if it gets worse, yes, absolutely, because you might be entitled to more money, or you might suddenly be entitled to the motability part of it, which you weren't before, or it's just generally your symptoms have got worse. That's the crux of it. If that's happened, then I feel that there should be something in place from the DWP to make that easier for people, whatever it may be. At least give them different options. At the moment, it's a written out piece of paper, application form, that is so many pages long. And I'm not being funny, I couldn't write it, so I had to get my wife to write it for me. I can't hold a pen properly, so not for that length of amount of writing that needed to be done. Why not make it online and do a yes and no kind of system where you go, hi, has anything changed? You can write no. Okay, your application will carry on. That's it. That's all that needs to be done. DWP will save money. You'll carry on with your what's it called? With your I can't even remember it. PIP money. Your entitlement. That's it. Job done. Now they can do like drop-ins and maybe random checks, stuff like that. That's how, a lot of businesses work, right? So do that. Then the others where they go, have your symptoms changed on an online application? Click yes. What's happened? Has it got worse or better? It's got worse or it's got better. Click on that. It's got worse. How? You click on it. Do you need a reassessment? Yes. And then you choose to have a reassessment. It's that easy. Do I have to think of everything DWP? Do I? Right. A system like that, yes and no thing. It's really, really simple. And then you send the information out to the person. So then they know they're going to go and get it. It's simple as that. Or something else. A one sheet piece of paper rather than, however, it's massive, the amount of stuff. And you have to send all the backup data again and again and again. Letters from your rheumatologist, your GP, your aunt's dog, that sort of thing. It's crazy. So DWP, sort it out. Make it easier for reapplications. Not everybody can do them. And it seems to be a waste of time for you and for a lot of people. I understand that there are people out there that need to be reassessed quite, with a certain level of intensity, I guess, quite probing or whatever, for whatever conditions they have. I understand that those situations can be dealt with specifically. But what I'm saying is the chronic illness guys, the guys that don't ever change, bang, them. Just let them live their lives. Nothing's likely to change. Nothing's likely to get better for them. And unfortunately, I'm one of those dudes. There we go. Rant over. Comments in the section below. Come on.